I was enrolled in a couple of trials. And I was admitted to Stanford a couple of times. So the first time I was admitted to Stanford, the best course of action, the treatment that my doctors thought was best was really to do a lot of chemo and reboot my bone marrow system, if you will. And sometimes when you reboot your bone marrow system, I think sometimes it's helpful for some people. And what that reboot was basically they just pumped a lot of chemo into my body to deaden, almost kill all of my bone marrow. So it was dangerous, just in terms of being neutropenic. So if I caught a cold, stubbed my toe, I could have bled to death because I was just not able to produce my own blood for a while. So I had a lot of transfusions, and during that process, I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2 clinical trials I was placed on. And it might have been a random, and it would have been a blind, so I don't know if I actually got the placebo or the actual trial. But I'm not sure that either of those 2 clinical trials succeeded. And then that's called, I think, consolidation therapy. And then every other month you go back and they do the same thing. They kill your bone marrow, and then they, helps you regenerate your natural stem cell, marrow cells afterwards. So I was okay, but about a year after the end of the treatment, I relapsed. And after relapsing, the doctors basically told me, there's nothing else we can do in terms of chemo. You're gonna need a bone marrow transplant. And through the bone marrow transplant, I was placed on another clinical trial. It was called the Acute clinical trial. And the phase 3 study actually just came out this week, and it was remarkable. It's probably going to change the standard of care in terms of reducing GVHD, in terms of providing a greater rate of survival. And so those were my kind of experiences in the clinical trial realm. The first time didn't go so well, and the second time I was placed on a fantastic clinical trial. I think ORCA also came out of Stanford. For me, I wasn't concerned because I knew the diagnosis I received of having AML is extremely, it's a very aggressive cancer, and there had been practically no treatment changes in how AML was, there were practically no advances in treatment of AML for the last 40 years, and I know the survival rates were not in my favor. So if there were clinical trials that were hoping to help greater success rate and recovery rate, I had no hesitations. The first time around, the second time around, I actually had an opportunity to look at the ORCA-T results of people who participated in the phase 1 study, and I was part of the phase 1 study, and it was amazing. I didn't think those results could be real. I thought they were doctored, so I was really confident participating in the ORCA-T clinical trial the second time around. It's such a good question, and I'll just answer it this way. I'm not a Stanford alum, but when I go out, I like to wear a Stanford baseball hat everywhere I go. And when people say, hey, did you go to Stanford? I tell them I didn't, but this is really the institution that saved my life. I could not have asked for a better facility to have my care done at than Stanford. From just the incredible doctors that I was able to work with, the clinical trials that were offered to me, the nurses, the top of the line facilities. I am just so incredibly indebted to Stanford, and I just find myself so lucky that I live in Stanford's backyard and I was able to get my care there. The research of AML, the way I was cared for by the doctors at the cancer center, the nurses who were there with me during my stay, the first time I was hospitalized, to the time that I was the second, I'll call it my second stay during my bone marrow transplant, the follow-up, just incredible people, incredible organizations. I couldn't have asked for a better place to have my treatment. It was devastating to have this cancer diagnosis, but having the support of the Stanford team made all the difference in the world for me and my family. My advice to people who have to go through this is, you have to have faith, do everything you can to put yourself in the best position to survive. Whether that means participating in clinical trials, eating better, listening to your doctors, doing the things that you can do, that you can control to increase your survival for you and your family. I know that we're all faced with lots of different life choices, and getting leukemia or having cancer is not something that we can control, but we have to be able to control the things that we can to put ourselves in the best position to succeed. So whatever that means to you, meaning getting the best possible medical treatment, being healthy, being as healthy as you can during the time of transplant, and having that strength to be able to go through this process. And it could be something as simple as eating better. And I know when you're going through chemo, you don't have an appetite and you don't want to eat. But in order to put yourself in the best position to succeed, your body needs those nutrients. So in order to grow the cells back, in order to combat the chemo, and when you feel like I just can't do it anymore, just remember, just do what you can to put yourself in the best position to succeed during this entire process. Prior to being diagnosed with leukemia, I had a really busy life. I was extremely focused on my career as an attorney, and it really does bring perspective. We all say, hey, look, health is the most important thing. And we never really, we all say that, but we really, unless and until you're put in a position where you're ready to meet your maker, you really don't understand quite the importance of that. And sometimes we lose sight of that. And, it's a little sad for me to come to the realization that I had to come to the brink of death and deal with my own mortality before I really could focus on those words of wisdom and for it to really sink in. So I think for all of us listening out there, it's easy for us to say, yes, health is the most important, but we really need to make sure that we understand that and we follow that, because we only have one chance at life, and we have to really take advantage of that. So live it to your fullest.